Wandering is an example of a behavior that is sometimes dangerous and must be addressed, but at other times is best left unaddressed. The crucial issue is danger. Was wandering ever a problem with your
It was
mom's?
a terrible problem for my mother. My father would, he would call me and say she'd gotten out of the house and she was out in the neighborhood, and he'd be on the car phone, and they live about a 40-minute drive from my house, and then I'd get in the car and run down there and try to help, and it was just horrible. She kept going home, and she was going home to the childhood home and would just be furious with him.
We can't say for sure why people wander, and I'm sure the reason varies from person to person. When something dangerous might happen, the reason why they're wandering actually doesn't matter. That's when we are required to act in a way to protect them.
He would go all over the neighborhood. One time my daughter ran after him to bring him back, and it was on a very busy street, and she said, "Dad, come on home," and he knocked her down on the sidewalk.
We were in the mall one time, and I had a baby in a high chair and another one in a booster seat, and she bolted, and I said, "Where are you going? You can't leave." And she got an attitude and said, "Well, I'm going to the bathroom, and I can certainly do that by myself." And I'm thinking, great, you know, and I'm grabbing kids, and French fries are flying, and we took off after her because I knew I'd lose her. And my daughter had a suggestion at that time that I thought was really a good one, to make sure I had a current photograph of my mother in my purse.
If wandering is a risky behavior, we have to make sure that the house is configured in such a way to prevent it. That might mean locking the windows, might even mean changing the locks to something that the person can't undo on their own. It might even mean putting in an alarm system. Did you put special locks on the doors at home to prevent wandering?
Yeah, my dad put an indoor lock that had a key that only he had, and and she would beat on the door. She would get furious with him, and she'd say, she understood that he had the control, and she'd tell him, "Open this door." And he learned to go in another room and just hide out for a few minutes and come back in, and you know, then her mindset would be changed.
Even people who don't wander can become lost. This is one of the reasons why it's good for people to have a bracelet that identifies who they are and what their problem is. A more recent way to approach this is to give the person a cell phone that allows you to identify exactly where they are using GPS technology.
I just gave her an ID bracelet that was pretty and had her name on it, and on the back side of it, it had phone numbers. And she accepted that. I gift wrapped it, and she accepted it as a special gift from me so that she wore it all the time for a while.
Some people with Alzheimer's disease undergo a personality change, sometimes a dramatic one. It's important, though, when somebody's behavior or personality changes, to not assume that it's the disease. So the first step is to make sure that there's not some medical problem that's triggering it, or that there's not something in the environment that's putting the person under pressure and leading them to behave in ways that are troublesome.
And they wanted to take him out, and he didn't want to go out, and he attacked the nurse. A time before that, he had knocked a nurse down because she wanted to dress him and bathe him, and she had a concussion. The irony of all this is, Jim, all his life, has been a very quiet man, a very peaceful man. And to see this happening, it was like a nightmare.
Yeah, it must have been devastating to you.
It was.
Yeah, and frightening.
It was not the Jim that I knew.
Yeah.
That I lived with for 50 years.
It's hard to change the way you've interacted with somebody for most of your life, whether it's a parent, a loved one, or a spouse. But sometimes appreciating that changes are brought about by the disease allows us to act differently toward the sick person and allows our kindness to come through. It's that explanation that it's the disease that's changed things, not the person, that allows that natural kindness to be there when it's felt by everybody.
But in the end, it's brought you closer
yes,
together.
Yes, it has. It really has. They're much more appreciative of the stress and strain that I have had. And now they're becoming protective of me, which is sort of funny, you know. But I like it, you know. I'm almost 71. I sort of like at this stage of life to be a little bit protected by my children. You know.
I think we all really just tried as best we could to support him and her with the illness. And I think we all have a lot of peace about everything that we've been through together.